Hey YouTube, Mark King here, and we have another one of these articles. Ah, all right. It's on ABC News. It's from Katie Kinderland, and the title is "Woman More Stressed, Burdened by Coronavirus." Ah, damn it, I said it. Burdened by the yellow fever more than men. Poll finds also 5 ways to help change that. So, it's kind of like a bit of a soft news piece, but all it is to continuously attack men, portray women as victims, and the article, honestly, it's about the government should do more for women. That's the entire gist of this article. That's all it really breaks down to. So this long article that claims it's a 9 minute read. That's all it adds up to. So, women in the United States are more stressed than men about the global pandemic, and they're taking more precautions because of it. Okay, so women are taking more precautions. All right, that's another that's another jab at men. If you're wondering, let's continue. Even though women make more, by the way, outside of when women graduate college and men graduate, women are now making more, and quote unquote it stops in the 30s when men start making more. Of course, women point this out; they're upset at that, but they're not upset that they're making more straight out of the college than men do. Anyway, it's a lack of logic thing there. They worry more about losing income and worry more about putting themselves at risk because they can't afford to stay home. So what they're saying is men are such losers that they can afford to stay home. This is the logic of these media hacks, by the way. This entire article is just a way to pour dirt on men while patting women on the back. It's constant. Anyway, poll finds, again, this is a poll. It's not a scientific study. It's a poll that's really opinions, right? That's all a poll is, right? It's an opinion. So 18 and older found that women also worry more than men that they have not been able to afford testing. So again, it's not that men can't afford testing. That women worry more than men, which has to do with a high degree of neuroticism. Women are narcissistic. You look at history, you can look at studies. So because of women's neuroticism, the world must essentially bow to women to satisfy women. This is, I mean, how can you publish such garbage? I think it's also because it's leading up to an election. So usually 2 years before an election, you usually focus on women. 2 years after, you focus on minority groups. You get what I'm drifting towards there. It seems like since the Trump election, they've completely focused on women. I'm wondering if it's because the black population, they've shifted towards Trump to such a degree that they only hope for the communist, which is embedded in the Democratic Party, is to hopefully, instead of 70% women voting Democrat, maybe 80% of them. So that's a very dangerous thing. This is why communists push identity politics, and this is why the target woman is neuroticism, has to do with logic. Anyway, so research shown too that women in the opposite sex couples, I like how they have to make sure they say opposite sex couples. It's like you can't say couples. You have to say opposite sex couples, because that's where we are. You can't say that in the Chinese newspapers, but you can definitely say that in America. Again, a lot of these newspaper and media companies are sponsored in some way by the Chinese communists. Anyway, so opposite sex couples do more of the domestic work in the household, even if they make more money outside home. So what they're saying, you're such a loser, man. You're such a big loser that your wife who makes more is also worried about domestic work, and she does domestic work. So domestic work is a really tricky. It's a really it's a tricky term because what they're saying in the home, so they're discounting the work men do outside the home. For example, this is how petty and insane these people are. So anyway, a 2019 Harvard study found that women hold the cognitive labor. So cognitive means quote unquote thinking. They think more. So they have more thinking labor. Apparently, thinking is now labor for household tasks, including anticipating and monitoring what needs to be done. So what this article is saying is that women are so is such a they're such advanced thinkers that they can anticipate and monitor what needs to be done, even though it's really about neuroticism, right? Anyway, I'll continue, man. Just hide your poop shoots. All right, so this is Shayana Ali. Let's see what this insane mental counselor has to say. From his from social science work, we do know that women experience the pressure of caregiving more than men. Now we have all the roles overlap more than usual. So women who are normally have more of the caregiving, because they have breasts, so they have more of the caregiving. That now they're not only doing the caregiving, they're taking up more responsibilities. Ali points out that the important caveat to the poll findings, which is that the findings are self-reported. Once again, self-reported, right? So the higher percentage for women may suggest that women are simply report. So again, men are liars, women are more honest. This is exactly what the article is saying. So again, all you have to know what side the media is on, right? Imagine if this is written the opposite, right? Imagine if they say women were more neurotic and men were more logical. Imagine the outrage of this article that would have happened. Now, I don't understand why these reports begin like paragraphs with buts and sentences with buts. It's just you don't do it. It's one of those things you learn in college. You just don't do it. Anyway, schools are closed. Women are more affected. Homeschooling their children, so women have to teach children. Yada yada yada. Women are also taking the burden of developing response because women need to plan more. Apparently, they should have had the foresight to plan previously, but they have to plan more for themselves and the families. Women more than men report that they decide not to travel or change. Women tend to take more time off. They tend to travel abroad more than men. This is exactly why they decide to change their travel plans. They take more vacation days. Look at you can look at any dating site. This is what women have. This is what they have in their profiles. So anyway, the findings of the survey reinforce much of what we have known about the impact of balancing multiple responsibilities, often without a safety net. So now they're talking about a safety net, and what that means is the government should provide monetary compensation to women in case so they can have family leave, and so they can afford childcare and long-term care support. So again, you want the government out of your lives, right? So as the government got more in the lives of the women in the 70s and 80s, what you see is divorce rates go up. You see marriage rates drop. You can especially see it in communities without like fathers, right? So you see it especially in the black community, right? The government and the feminists, they specifically targeted the black community, and without men, you see what the black community has turned into. It's a wreck. 50 years ago, like black community was only 10% out of wedlock, and now it's 90%, 80%. Anyway, the Eve Rudsky is an author of the best-selling book, explores how women bear the brunt of child rearing and domestic life responsibilities. My goodness. Okay, all right, and I think she gives like five examples. So, women in good times are diagnosed with anxiety. In good times are diagnosed with anxiety disorders twice as much as men, and because we're holding the conception and planning of every household activity, she said, a woman's brain A woman's brain doesn't show up. Again, it has to do with neuroticism, right? They're trying to spin things that are, what I say is, are actually harmful in society as a positive thing. Anyway, let's just go through the five here because I have enough. I'm losing my patience with this load of crap. Anyway, one, give yourself 5 minutes to write on everything that is worrying you at the moment. Oh boy, women will never stop writing, so they will never sleep. That'll be another problem. Practice self-love in the form of deep breathing and mindfulness and gratitude practices. Yeah, women call this yoga. If you ever see advertisement for yoga, it's always women. That's all it is. Finding community in the time that you may be physically alone. So, because women don't get married, don't have kids, they're alone, and it's somebody else's fault. Start where you are now and realize there's no one way to handle a pandemic. Rudsky said. Realize there's no way alone to handle a pandemic. Alright, well, you should never have been alone because you should have been married with kids. Spend 20 minutes every night debriefing about how everything is going. Alright, that means less sleep, women more affected. Alright. So take care, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I hope this was somewhat entertaining. It was really painful for me to go through. It's a real chore because it's such garbage. This entire article, which was featured in JMA by Katie Kinderland, is just excuses and women still more affected, men die more. Take care, guys. Bye. Share, save, subscribe, whatever.